Welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. I'm Bobby Capel. As we continue our discussion about human sex trafficking on this Saturday morning, we welcome in a guest who offers a very unique perspective. Casey McClure is a former exotic dancer turned activist. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
So let's start with your story so folks can have some background on you, and then we can get into your organization.
I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. I quit school at the age of 15, ran away from home, was a high school dropout, got my GED at 18, came to Atlanta to visit my sister who was a dancer at the time, and she was working at the world famous Gold Club. And I came here.
Exotic dancer, just
yes,
to be clear.
she actually started stripping.
How did she get into that?
She started stripping at the age of 17.
Did she run away also?
She was in and out of juvenile. She got locked up. She was a runaway. We were both victims of molestation when we were kids. And so it started as
was it a family member? Or?
Yes, it was our father.
Oh,
and
goodness.
as we got older, he was not prosecuted, but my sister had already had her second child at 17, and she got into stripping as a form to help her take care of her kids because she, was a single mother. And so when she started dancing at 17, when she ended up in Atlanta at the age of 19, she danced for a couple years here, and I came to visit her. And when I walked through the door, the manager at the front door, he said, "You're hired." And I told him I wasn't here to look, I don't need a job. I was here to see my sister. And his words were, "You don't want to make $1,000 a night." And at 18 years old, living on your own, struggling to make ends meet, who would not want to take that job? So I thought about it, and I tried it out. And the first night I danced, I made like $600. The next night it was $800. And I ended up quitting my full-time job and went into dancing full-time. And I danced for 5.5 years. I made lots of money dancing, but I got to a very low point in my life. My grandmother died in 2002. My boyfriend broke up with me. My brother was arrested for trafficking crystal meth, and I was just at a low point in my life. And I was at my grandmother's funeral, and they sang the song Amazing Grace, and I just started asking myself, is there something better than what I was doing in my life? And after my grandmother had passed away, I was just missing a part of me. I just was really searching for something, and I didn't know what I was searching for. And one night I had I was working at the Pink Pony, and I had made like $2,500 that night. And you would think, oh wow, you made $2,500, you should be a happy dancer or a happy stripper. But when I was on my way home that night, I cried all the way home, and I cried out to God that night, and I asked him to please save me from myself, basically. And then a couple months later, I ended up meeting the man that I married now, and he invited me to church while we were dating. And while I was going to church, they knew I was a stripper. They knew what kind of lifestyle I was coming from, but they loved me and welcomed me anyways. And just through that transition and just going to church and still dancing, on my way to the club one night, for the first time, I felt like what I was doing was wrong, and I wanted to get out. And I quit. That was in July 27, 2003, and I have been out of the industry ever since.
What percentage of the women you worked with throughout your 5.5 years would you say had that same feeling at some point? Or is that something that's replicated throughout? I mean,
yeah, they really don't want to be there, but the money is fast and is easy, and you can, we've had a lot of girls that when I dance that, they would get drunk and cry at the end of the night and just hate what they were doing, or they'll get caught up with a bad relationship with the worst boyfriend possible. They end up taking care of that boyfriend, and they feel stuck. For 3 years straight while I was dancing, each New Year's resolution was, I'm going to quit dancing this time. I'm going to quit dancing this time. And every year passed, and I never quit dancing. And then finally, in 2003, I walked away cold turkey. It was like, I have to get out of this.
Is there a relationship in your eyes between the sex trafficking industry and strip clubs?
It is a fine line. I know that we work with a lot of clubs that try to be aware and make sure that they pay attention if there's pimps that come into their clubs. But sometimes it's the girls meeting up with the pimps outside of the club, or they end up selling them online. A lot of people are not aware, like Backpage just recently, Backpage.com was a very popular website that was selling girls online, and there was minors on there that were being sold online. Some girls that actually were rescued through Forcera and through DeKalb County law enforcement. But these girls actually start selling themselves online thinking, well, I'm going to get some extra money, and they get caught up into prostitution and sex trafficking, and that's where the pimp can transfer them from one location to another, to one state to another state, and that's where the 14-year-old girls can start selling themselves, 15 years old. And, you know, we just try to help women that are all ages, whether they're, you know, a minor or whether they're adult, because sometimes these women that we work with, they got started at 14, but now they're 35 seeking help.
And you have a 12-year-old daughter right now from which your organization is named. It is For Sarah, the number 4, sarah.net if you're interested in checking it out. What is that organization? Tell me.
So For Sarah, we are basically an outreach program. We go into the strip clubs and we do a little bit of street outreach, and then we also do the online outreach where we call girls that work online. So when they set up an ad, a classified ad, we pull up their ad and we call the number. And what we do is we have about 8 seconds to tell them who we are and what we do, and then try to give them resource in our hotline number just in case they're.
And what's their response typically?
They're very thankful. Some of them are like skeptical, like, why are you calling me? But once we let them know we're not here to judge you, we're not here to condemn what you're doing, we're just here to be a support system when you're ready to get out. And so we have the outreach program, and then we have the intervention program. So when they call us, we work with several different organizations that offer housing or safe housing, or just we're working, you know, we're trying to work some more staffing agencies that will give employment to these girls. But then we also have a scholarship program. So I was a high school dropout, and so many of these girls, they don't have any job skills. They don't have anything else but prostitution or stripping, and you can't put that on your resume. So we try to encourage them to go back to school, to get their GED, or just mostly just, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we want to, you know, teach them to learn to dream again and not to get stuck that all they are is a stripper or a prostitute, because there's life after the sex industry. We
have a hotline number at the bottom of your screen right now. You can call if you want more information, if you are in this situation, or if you have a family member or a friend that's in this situation that could use you guys as a resource. How many people have you rescued?
I wouldn't call them rescues, because sometimes these girls end up going back, and sometimes they're repeats. But we come in contact with thousands of girls each year, a couple thousand. And we might end up helping only 100 of those per year. But out of those 100, a lot of the girls end up repeating, going back, and then we're still there. Even if they go back, we're still there throughout the process.
Well, thank you so much, Casey, for coming in today and sharing your story. And there is the website again, one more time, forsarah.net. If you are interested, take a look at that, and the hotline number at the bottom of your screen. Don't go anywhere when we return. Signs that someone is potentially being trafficked. That's when Public Affairs on Peach returns.